So have any of you guys seen the clip from the podcast about with Christine Brennan? This book is going to be crazy. I mean this when I say this. This book is going to be absolutely crazy. So Christine Brennan is... And the WNBA tried to get Christine Brennan banned. And I mean this when I say this. Like, whatever your opinion on Christine Brennan is, it is not a positive thing if you are trying to get rid of probably the most impactful women's sports reporter in the history of women's sports. Like, there's not one reporter who has, even if you don't like Christine Brennan, even if you don't like some of the things, they cannot come for Christine Brennan. Like, it is a bad look. It is a bad look. It's like going for a freaking, if you're a critic, it's like, imagine if, I don't know, Bill Russell said something, rest in peace, Bill Russell. But imagine hypothetically if Bill Russell was alive and Bill Russell said something positive about Caitlin Clark and they went for Bill Russell. Who had them, like obviously Bill Russell maybe had more impact in the sport of basketball than anyone else ever. Other than maybe Michael Jordan. But Christine Brennan is the GOAT of women's sports reporting. But like, here are some of the clips of her talking, and this is on the Adam Gold show about her upcoming book. But it's it sounds like it's going to be as much as anything an expose on the WNBA last year. And I mean this when I say this, the WNBA deserve it. Like, I think we didn't see things anywhere near as badly. I talked about it earlier in the stream. Post Diana Taurasi game. Post Olympics, when she was just the second best player in the league after Fee Collier. Coming in those last couple of games through the playoffs, when she won a player of the month, which won 3 player of the weeks in a row. Like, I think at that stage people were really just like, okay, yeah, we can't really say much about her. But yeah. Early on the season, I think there was a lot of stuff. That will probably get exposed, and honestly, it probably will be deserved to be talked about. But yeah, anyway, let's take a listen.
And basketball. You just see, if anyone hasn't seen her answer the other day to the Hong Kong reporter, it's all over Twitter, social media, wherever you go. Just Google it, look for it. Where a man from Hong Kong says, "I'm here," and she stops. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to go to Hong Kong someday. Tell them hello. I'm sorry I didn't meet all of them. I mean, there's no athlete who even remotely acts like this. I mean, and she's 23 years old, 23 going on 40 or 50. I mean, the way she handles questions. Think of the international appeal of Caitlin Clark. She would have been a one-woman dream team. And that is what...
And they're not wrong. Like, she's not wrong. Like, I mean this when I say this. If Caitlin Clark was on the Olympics team, I would have been at every single game. And if you want to make the argument, oh, you're not a real fan if you're not going to watch the Olympics. And I'm like, if you weren't going to go anyway. And I'm like, no, I watched every game. But at the end of the day, I am like, I would have gone out of my way. I didn't care enough to fly to a different country to watch them play. And if Caitlin goes to the World Cup, you better believe I'll be at every World Cup game I can be. Obviously, one of my best friends is getting married at the start of that tournament, but I'll be at the finals. Let's be real, the USA Women's are making the finals. I'll be at the finals. It's in Germany. Heck, I might be courtside at the finals. Like, it's one of those things. I might be freaking courtside at the finals. But yeah, like, that is how big Caitlin Clark is. Like, you can guarantee you they would have sold out every game if Caitlin Clark was there.
USA basketball left home, and it's not just me. The Washington Post calls it one of the worst decisions of the year, and there's no doubt about it. Horrible decision on every level, and because Will Bond, my buddy, college classmate, was saying, well, you just can't pick her because of bringing eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, they literally brought a shooting guard who couldn't walk. Like, even her own coach, even Chelsea Gray's own coach even her own coach realizes she's not a point guard. Like, her own coach is playing Jackie Young point guard. But the Olympics went with one point guard, and it's a player who couldn't walk properly, who couldn't run, and was their only point guard. There was not even a basketball reason not to bring Caitlin.
Well, women's sports kind of needs eyeballs, but her statistics at that moment, the decision, were better than Taurasi's and several of the other players who were selected.
Whatever about the Taurasi one, I understand bringing Taurasi for sentiment and leadership. There was no reason to bring Chelsea Gray. She couldn't run. She had a broken foot. She couldn't run. As slow as Chelsea Gray is now, as slow as Chelsea Gray wasn't unrivaled. She was 100 times slower. 100 times slower last season. If you looked at the Olympics, they were losing to Japan in the first half because they ran to whoever offense on Chelsea Gray. They just started going, meep, by Chelsea Gray. Every time it was like, oh, Chelsea Gray's near someone, let's run by her to the basket. They nearly lost the finals. They were literally, like, I'm not joking when I say this. If you watch USA in the Olympics, I can't remember, there was one game they started off well. I think it was the semis against Australia. But they killed Nigeria as well. But they were literally out there losing. They were starting off the game losing to Germany. They started off losing to Belgium. They needed a miracle comeback in the finals. All of these things are facts. They started off losing to Japan. They were not winning these games because they went with Sentiment Basketball Club. They went out with Sentiment BC. And they were getting cooked with their starting lineup. Yes, they had 12 of the 15 best players in the competition, so they pulled it off. But to say that, like, this wasn't a disastrous selection, not only off the court for eyeballs, but also on the court. Like, there were about 5-6 players that did not make that team that would have drastically improved that team. They went with one center and one point guard.
Much of that, because I want to get to a couple of other things before I have to let you go. How much of that was Cheryl Reeve, who was acerbic all last season about Caitlin Clark? How much of that was her?
With Cheryl Reeve, I'm not going to say all last season because her tone did change up post-Olympic break.
And how much of that was USA Basketball?
I think it was both. I mean, officially, Cheryl Reeve was not on the selection committee, but she's the coach of the team, right? So we weren't born yesterday, you and I. Also, just stunningly bad behavior by Cheryl Reeve, tweeting at and about Caitlin Clark, kind of blaming her for not having her games on Minnesota Lynx on TV. But
like, Christy and Brennan actually brought that up. We forgot about that. The Cheryl Reeve literally was tweeting negative stuff about Caitlin Clark before the season started. She was the USA basketball coach. And look, I am a chronically online person. But again, my job involves me being chronically online. Is it healthy for a normal person? No, it's not. But like, you've literally got coaches just tweeting random stuff. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Only, Caitlin games on TV, that's the gist of it. Again, I have all this detailed in the book, and I reported it at the time. How on earth is that okay with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee and USA Basketball that its coach is actively tweeting and going on social media about someone who is in the selection pool?
Yeah, that is such a bad look. In hindsight, that is such a bad look.
I mean, that alone should have been immediately nipped in the bud. Never was by the leadership of those organizations. So I think there's it's a very interesting world. It's a sad thing for me to see that.
I actually think a year ago she was on the money. I think you can make the argument that she was completely on the money with that. And I think that the WNBA, and by the way, I don't think it's the same as that now. I don't think this entire situation, like, is the exact same as that now. I don't think that it's something that's a problem right now. I think Caitlin Clark has been good enough that I don't think people are out there, are out there just pretending that she's not what she is. But at the end of the day, it's it's something that needs to be talked about. And it's something that needed to be talked about back then. But back then, if you talked about it, you were any sort of an ist. I don't know exactly what you would call it, say in particular, but you were something that ended in ist. There's no question about that. But yeah, it's not great.